Starting a cleaning business is an adventure filled with highs and its lows, and within the first year, many entrepreneurs face their major reality check, leading to a significant drop-off. Let's explore why some persevere and others choose to exit, and how understanding these stages can set you up for a long-term success. Stage 1 is the initial thrill and reality check. The thrill of starting a new venture meets reality check of the cleaning industry's challenges. And those are, and we know it if you're already in the industry, irregular clients, staffing hurdles, and slim margins. Around, unfortunately, 20% of small businesses fail in the first year. The cleaning sector of particularly hard hit, grappling with these obstacles. The exit reasons could be when people shut down or close or whatnot, and those are the challenges in managing costs of inflated expectations. And that's the biggest. It's your expectation. Think about it. If somebody tells you this movie is so cool and so great, and many people tell you the movie is so great, and then you go and watch the movie, and for some reason it satisfies you, but only for 90%, then your expectation is failed because everybody told you so awesome the movie was. But imagine you go and start the movie with having 50% expectation, but the movie hits your 90% expectation threshold. Now you're blown off with the movie because your expectations were realistic, and when you achieve the success, it is so cool for you and rewarding. Same here. If you're just starting out, be very careful how you set your expectations, because inflated expectations will unavoidably lead to dissatisfaction, a lot of stress, and potentially closing down cleaning companies. At the stage 2, which pivots from the stage 1, we have pivot or perseverance. And what happens here is entrepreneurs face a critical decision. We either pivot niche services or refine our business models. At this stage, also see some chasing the next shining object or retreating to the perceived safety of employment. If you never worked for yourself before and then you ran out of your savings, that cushion goes down, and you know how your heart beats, and then bills in this country never stop. So then you're faced with reality. You have to pay the bills. You have no enough money coming in, and you either persevere or go back to a safety, to your employer or any other employer, if that's the safety for you. But some persevere, and this is just the first year, and then you push through. You either niche down and become a power washing company, a window cleaning company, a stripping waxing company, because initially we think we can do them all, and then we offer all of the services, but then we figure out actually we want to be known at one service and be known really well at that service, and then keep adding new services to it. This is the more nicer, proper approach. My approach was wrong too. I started offering all of those services, and then you find yourself in a like you're back hitting against between a hard rock and the wall, because you offer too much. You can't chew it. Not all of them profitable. And in this business, we're so dependent on people, and then you don't have people. So if you're starting off and you're wiser than me, and I like to believe that you are, then niche down on one service. There is enough work. We might think there's not enough work if we just offer floor stripping and waxing. That is not true, because if you get known for that service, then people know you in the industry for that, and there's so much more fish in the water for you to catch. Psychological reference to this stage 2 would be the decision fatigue, because a lot of business owners will start facing critical business decisions that shape the venture of the future and the trajectory of the company. Have always been an employee, at least when I never felt that much pressure and decision fatigue versus me becoming myself, like self-owned, operated, independent company without my employer. So if I had any challenges, I had to solve them all, where I find the customers, where I find the money to meet my payroll, where I find the money to pay my lease, and where I find the money to put the food on the table. So those are decisions. Once you transition to a self-employed, they will lead you to fatigue. And it's like any other muscle, right? You build your muscle. The more you exercise the decision making, then the faster you become. And then you have systems. You develop different systems which will help you to minimize the decision making time, so that you are not faced with the fatigue. The next phase I call stage 3, and this is endurance and expansion. And this happens between after year 1 up to the year 5, in my experience. And those who adapt to start to see the growth by the year 5, so because you now over the hurdle of the first, this is the difficult, this is the hardest. Now it gets slightly easier, so that's a good news. It's not super easy yet, but it just gets a little easier. And now you adapt by the year 5, and it's also the period where many exit, unfortunately, due to scaling challenges. So now you kind of like overcome the hurdle, but now you need to figure out how to scale, build a system, and etc. And unfortunately, statistics are not positive there. 50% of small businesses don't make it past the year 5, often due to underpricing, failing to secure loyal clients, or external factors like economic downturns. And I will slow down slowly or quickly actually to those factors. Underpricing is one of the things that I talk about is overhead. Like when people do the math and calculation, they don't calculate overhead, and that kind of eats into their profit. Or some people go into bid wars and we try to be the lowest. I mean, how low can you go? After zero, there's nothing else. You can't keep going low. So therefore, how to price is super important. Check out those videos after this video if you haven't seen them yet, where I talk about the mistake about overhead, not calculating, and then not properly calculate the numbers. Failing to secure loyal clients is super important. If you're just chasing the price, then you're going for the cheapest. The cheapest person is not the loyal person who pays for the cheapest company, because this cheapest person will sell you out to another cheaper competitor of yours next time when the cheaper competitor comes out. So you don't have a loyal clientele to keep feeding your machine, to keep paying your bills, so you keep conquering the world. And then external factors such as economic downturn, that will likely happen, either high inflation, joblessness, pandemic, or any other negative factors that you cannot control, that none of us can control. And then exit reasons. In this stage, people will exit or shut down. By exit, I mean shut down. They either have a burnout, or there's too much competitive pressure, or financial challenges they're just unable to maintain. At this stage, if you're doing okay, you will start leaning towards the next stage, which I call it consolidation and stability. And this is between year 5 and year 10. And this is where things get more easier now, because you're like in this waters already, you've been swimming a lot, you build out your muscles of decision making, you're starting to build out your systems, you've got people that are helping you, and you've got protocols in place, and customers know your name, and you're building a brand. Reaching the 10-year mark is monumental. If you have reached 10-year mark, then tap your shelves in your shoulders, because this is huge. Not many companies reach that. At this stage, you have honed their operations, you probably did that, and then established a strong market presence. Statistic is not good, but good in your favor if you're at the 10-year mark, then, because only 30% of businesses celebrate a decade in operation. And those who do have often diversified and invested building a public, reputable brand. So because you're able to reach this is because people are coming back to you. So they know your name, they recognize your name, they know you will deliver on your promise, which is super important about delivering promise. And at this stage, people exit as well. And one of the reasons could be it's a too much competition is going on and the market got too saturated. Or the second reason that I see the appeal of starting something new. And that happened to me as well. Past the 5-year, closing to 10-year, I start opening different companies. My business partner and I opened the home improvement company, and we got our home improvement license and start swinging the hammer and doing the kitchens and renovations. And then we found investors. We tapped into the wholesalers, private investors who flip the houses, and we start getting some work from them. And we're like, oh, we can actually flip the houses ourselves as well. And then we start flipping the houses ourselves as well. And then we got another company opened up for it. And that was a real estate company. So as you can see, I start spreading myself low, like too much low. So I start spreading myself, which means my energy. And this is where a lot of entrepreneurs who are approaching 10-year mark will lose focus. We think we can conquer a lot, we've got a little extra money, and we start investing into them. It took me probably a solid 5 years to realize that I'm mortal, I grow old as everyone else. Learning any other industry takes at least 5 years. years, doesn't matter what it is. Even if you worked in that industry as an employee or a manager, but you weren't the owner, believe me, once you dive into those waters, you're gonna see underwater mines that you haven't seen before. And or this is where you have a little extra cash and you start investing and become more bullish, go into cryptocurrency, riskier investments, buy riskier stocks, or write a check to someone else and take a little lesser calculated risks. And that happened to me as well. There are 3 instances when I precisely wanted to quit my company between year 1 to year 10. There's a separate video, go take a look at it, because it's got a lot of lessons that I've learned that I happily am sharing. The intent of this channel is to make sure you, the viewer, the cleaning company owner, succeed and learn on my mistakes. This is me paying for it, and if you're liking this content, thumbs up would be gladly appreciate it, and thank you for that. So stage 4 is consolidation and stability, and this is 5 to 10 year. And we mentioned that some people exit because there's too much saturation in your market now. Technology got in and you're not caught up and you weren't like catching up with the improvements, what was happening, or you started too many businesses and now those businesses all collectively start draining you. So that's a mistake. If you've done it, then try not to and shed off the fat, which I did. Number 5 would be long-term success. And this is a 10-year plus. For those who persist, the cleaning industry can be immensely rewarding. This final stage focuses on optimization and potential succession. So implementing a successful exit strategy would be now your exit. Now by exit, I'm meaning you're not wrapping down or closing down your company. You're actually either exiting, meaning you're selling your company to someone else and cashing out on your work, or you are transitioning a leadership to someone else and you're building a turnkey business. If you haven't read E-Myth, Simplified Business, then read it. It's a really cool book, and I will put a link down below for the book as well. The concept of the book is you build a system, because when people want to buy from you, or you are you're setting up a succession for yourself, whether a manager, a family member, whoever is going to, and then you're going to remove yourself and whoever that person is going to manage it, you're giving them a turnkey operation. And the turnkey operation is something that is super appealing to buyers. What a turnkey operation means, and this is the E-Myth Revisited, that's a book where the author goes into that a lot, is you have figured out and documented everything. By doing that, you should be able, you're relying on an average person. You're not going on a most brilliant, most educated, most expensive person, because you're not making company around the person, because what happens if the person leaves? Whatever can happen, many things can happen to a person. But you're building a system which can bring in an average person, and people are now around the system. You just fill them in, and there's like a check marks, and there's like to-dos, and this is how it's done, this is how you price it, this is how you behave in front of the person, this is how you wear, this is how you clean, these are the chemicals, this is who you buy. This is a turnkey operations. If you reach that level of succession, that kudos to you. I am gladly, like at this year, I started in 2009, now it's 2024, 15 years after, I can tell that the industry is super rewarding once you pass through it. So wherever you are and you're about to punch through, then do that. Remember, when you're struggling, and this is a biggest lesson to remember, if there's one takeaway you're gonna walk away from this video, this should be it. Whenever you're struggling, punch through, because the only way out is a through. Without this, there's no way out. Here's the story of lobsters. We all love lobsters. When lobsters grow, did you know that their shells, the protective hard shell, it doesn't grow with them? So to grow, because the lobster gets super not comfortable inside of their shell, and to grow or stay the same, if they don't grow, they'll stay the same, they have to throw away, meaning get rid of that shell and grow the new shell. And while they're growing that new shell, they're completely exposed, they're vulnerable. They go under the rocks, under the stones, wherever they can, and they hide from predators. Then a reward comes in, and they've got bigger and nicer, more stronger shell for the lobster to protect them. Whenever you are faced with that obstacle and you feel like, dang it, I can't find customers, I don't have enough cash, I can't find the right people to do it, I can't find procedures, I can't automate this business, go through this. Believe in your brain, give yourself time to figure this out, and your brain will. Consume as much information as you can. Ping me, I'm happy to help, but Figure that out, because once you through that ceiling, you just punch through it, then you've got the whole new level to grow, and it's exciting. So keep that in mind. Understanding these life cycles of this cleaning business is crucial for navigating its ups and downs. It's the entrepreneurs who are ready to adapt and innovate that build enduring businesses, and we know that. I can guarantee you one thing: if you watch this long enough, your journey will not be easy. But I also can guarantee you one thing: if you pass through the 10-year mark, stage 5, then it will be worth it. I'll let you soak and marinate on it, and I'll invite you to share your journey and strategies, fostering supportive community that thrives on collective success. Your extraordinary story begins now. And I'll see you inside of this video right after you subscribe. Thanks, and keep on crashing your businesses.